All right. Welcome back to another episode of the Iron Obsession podcast, guys. I'm joined once again by Steve Gordon in the right-hand corner and Daniel Derryberry in the bottom corner. How you doing, fellas? And a cat. Yep.
You got a cat now, Stevie?
I do, yes. Her name's, she's about a year old, so I know you don't like cats, but...
I'm iffy. Wow. I'm 50-50 on cats. I had a really good cat, but I've known a lot of bad cats as well. That looks like a good cat, just because of how personable she is with you.
Very, very affectionate cat. She follows you from room to room.
Those are the best.
She does not cause any problems. She has all of her claws, but she doesn't, scratch furniture or anything. Nice. Knock on wood. So, she's pretty good. The only bad thing is she likes to get up on top of counters, but...
That's my only gripe with cats, actually. It's just the mix between the countertops and the litter box. But other than that, they're all right.
And the toxoplasmosis, that too.
She's good with everything. So.
the crazy thing, yeah. So what's new, fellas? It's been a bit. We got Steve about to have a 2K total this weekend. As powerlifting meet. And Dan, you're in a little bit of a pullback phase here, right?
Yeah, I guess we'll call it a health phase, but I mean, it's really not.
I said pullback phase, not health phase. We're healthy year round.
we are still keeping the androgens high enough that 6 weeks there wouldn't be enough time for the clearance of everything that I've been on. So about 6 weeks is what we're looking at right now.
Yeah. I'm a little jealous, man. I'm like itching to kind of come down on a cruise just because I feel like fucking garbage.
I'll tell you, every week up to now I've felt great, but these last probably 2 or 3 weeks, I've been sitting there thinking, like, because Anson, he initially had told me, he was like, looks like we're going to try to go to the end of the February. And as soon as I reached February, I'm like, dude, I got to do this for another month. I'm going to die. And I didn't want to complain, of course. I was like, I'm going to squeeze out every bit of progress. But, that switch to day shift is what really solidified it for me. It really threw off all my digestion, having to, cram all of my meals into a short period of time. So it was probably a good time to reset anyway. So We'll do the 6 week pull down. I've already dropped like 7 pounds, and we'll see where I land at the end of the off season, I guess.
So what was your total timeline for that blast?
So we ended up with the post-show rebound included. That was like a 5-week period. I think I checked in up to week 19 or week 20. So 25 weeks total, basically.
Okay. Yeah.
Of the off season.
That's nice. That's about as long as I would want to take things personally. Like once you start getting into the 30s, it just kind of almost feels like you're spinning your wheels, even if you've got.
That's exactly where I'm at right now.
Yeah,
I've been going into the gym kind of like I have the ability to be intense with my training, but some days I just go in and I'm like, dude, I don't have it in me to go. Like the music's not feeling the same, the pumps aren't feeling necessarily the same, and I didn't feel like I was really moving on the logbook, which I finally had to kind of humble myself again, because I always get to a point in the off season where the strength starts to trend up, but then the quality of the sets just slowly, like it's very unnoticeable at first, but I've tried to make a point for specific movements to record them every week, and I've been able to go back in time and watch, and I'm like, well, I'm moving up in weight, and I'm thinking that it's the same, but if you compare it to year, it's a 10-second cut or 10-second loss in set time, with the same amount of reps, because I'm speeding through reps a lot quicker on specific exercises. So I am going to be pulling back weights for the next few weeks, kind of clean all that up, and because I think what kind of nailed that for me was I was doing adductors one day, and I've been doing adductions with like a gym pin on top of the stack with like I think an extra 90 pounds, and I strained my adductor or something in my adductor hamstring region, and I was like, I need to pull back.
So, I had that happen in prep. Not fun.
Yeah.
For the rep range for those adductors, you're probably doing like 20, 30 reps, I guess.
That's a 16 to 20. Yeah. Oh, well, he's got me doing 12 to 16, but I'll err on the side of 16 to 20 sometimes. It just depends. I've been trying to slow down the reps even more, and really what got me there was I think just the range of motion was too much for my mobility. I was trying to stay as flexible with my adductions as possible, but at some point I ended up extending a little too far, and that's what ended up pulling something for me. But I've kind of rehabilitated it from there on. So
So question.
Man, it's so crazy, Stevie. I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. But I was just looking in the background. It is so wild to me. He has had that freaking Arnold Schwarzenegger poster since we were kids, dude.
I need to get something behind me, man. I need to get like some. I want to get like my stage photos. I want to like put them behind me or something this upcoming year.
Yeah.
You got an awesome background.
I felt so egotistical doing that for the first time, getting a stage photo of myself. I was like, dude, this is an accomplishment. Let me frame this. This looks good. So
yeah, that's an awesome poster though. That's a really good quality picture of Arnold too. Like you'll normally see some that are just kind of like almost just like the film, just the time. The film quality is terrible, but that's a nice one right there. But a question for you guys on the subject of gym pins. I've noticed myself since kind of Joe reworked my training. I don't really use them on anything. The adductor would be like one thing. That's really it. How many people do you guys think actually need these gym pins? I think almost nobody.
Most people that I see using them don't need them.
Yeah, most people. Yeah, exactly what Daniel said. I honestly, I start to cringe at some point. It was last week. It was a pool day, so it was, and there was this guy on the ham strength preach curl. I have to work in. That's like my favorite thing to do for biceps. Yeah, it's my favorite. And I was like, okay, yeah, let's work in real quick. And he said, so how much you want to go up to? I said, I'll probably go up to like 2 plates and a 10, about 100 pounds. So I guess pretty good for me to do like 10 solid reps with a nice slow eccentric. And he said, all right, that's what I want. He got a smile. He said, that's what I'm going to do. I was like, all right, perfect. Anyways, this kid, he's like 140 pounds soaking wet. And I was like, that's fine. We can drop it if you need to. He said, nope, that's what I'll do. And I said, all right. Anyways, he did 3 reps. And this is a guy that uses gym pins. The only reason I'm bringing it. He did 3 reps. His form was good, but he did 3 reps. And every single rep, he like completely dropped the weight, lost all tension. And then like freaking strained to get his next rep. He did that. And then he watched me do my set for like 10 to 12 reps.
Yeah.
After he watched me do my set, he tried to coach me on how to do the curls. He said, so I actually completely dropped the rep and I stretch, I completely lengthen the bicep.
How you tear your bicep? How you tear your bicep?
And lose all my tension. He said, because that's actually better for the bicep.
You're going right into the next thing I was going to segue into. I've seen, because the two are kind of related, that gym pin crowd and this crowd here. I've seen people try to argue that slow eccentrics don't do anything, and it's the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard.
Oh my word, bro! So like, Ty, what's his name? Last name? I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank on your last name. Ty, you're gonna hate me. Ty that hangs out with Seth Feroci a whole bunch.
I know his last name, or at least his Instagram handle's Bender.
Ty Bender. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. I've been working in with him on a few things lately with legs. Whenever I can, I try working with him just because he's so great. He's at like the peak of a push right now, so his training is
freaking. Leg strength is insane too. I've watched.
It's insane. Man, yeah, he's great to. If I could match training with him perfectly, I would. But I know he likes to do his own thing as well, so I don't want to try to butt in with his training. But I've been working on him with just like cable flies and. Every single time I work in with him on something, he corrects my form just to the slightest.
Yeah.
Now, whenever he does cable flies, the peak contraction, he is all chest, and then it's really slow in the eccentric. Yep. He only does 25 pounds. And look at him. He's my height. He's 5'7" with abs. He's like 265.
260. Yeah. He's big, dude. He's a big guy.
He's only using 25 pounds. Yeah. You don't need to be doing freaking cable flies with a gym pin, bro.
Yeah. Absolutely not. And I've just noticed, especially on legs too. Like I think maybe you got a certain kind of individual who they're just built to do legs. Like they got great posture for everything, great ankle mobility. Maybe they can get away with just squatting heavy, like brutal. Kind of like I was about to say, kind of like your case or your early on training, right? You probably build a pretty good set of legs that way. But for me personally, I think
I did was squats.
It probably goes like if you have a muscle group that is stubborn, it seems that going slow on the eccentric is just going to help it build better.
I think it's for the eccentric and then the connection that you get with it. I don't want to sound like a gym bro, but the connection.
But do you guys know like what the reasoning they have for it not doing anything is? Because clearly in reality it does.
If I may speak on like the science-based community, maybe what I've kind of heard here and there, it's the idea that the most muscle recruitment or mechanical tension you'll ever get is on the concentric portion of the movement. Whenever you're trying to create the most explosive portion of the movement, that's why you'll see them. Like I've seen them where they'll do like, here's how to build muscle without even having to do a rep, and they're just static holding, trying to force their back to pull the. I don't know. It's something weird, but it's just
so goofy.
And they believe it's just the actual the process of firing those muscles.
Yeah.
It's like, would I have built the exact same legs, not full rep, squatting 495 for sets of 8, as I would if I did quarter squats or something? I don't think I'd have the same legs. Full range of motion. Now, going back in time, like you had said, though, that kind of goes back to where I realized that I had a crutch, if you will, where I was able to backpack off good genetics, where even though I was able to move a lot of weight, I wasn't controlling the form. Right. I was still training like a powerlifter because I had gone through a phase where I was training like a powerlifter. And so to have to like completely deprogram that from my brain when I'm trying to train and stop focusing so much on how much weight I'm moving. Even now, like I said, great example. I think I can lighten the weight on the dumbbell chest press I'm doing right now. I'm already pre-exhausting by doing a pec deck or a chest fly, type movement. And even that, I've tried to slow down and get even, a much deeper connection. I've gone days now without a gym pin. I've just done the full stack, and like that's perfect as long as I'm really holding the squeeze at the top and really slowing down the eccentric portion. But I truly don't believe in the whole you need to lift as much weight as possible, kind of deal anymore. There are people that are going to react well to that because look at how I built my legs training that way initially. But then those are the same individuals who end up, not to say that we all end up like this, but Ronnie Coleman.
Yeah.
I guarantee Ronnie Coleman could have been Ronnie Coleman without training like that. It was just that was his way of getting amplified and enjoying training. But unfortunately, it destroys all your tendons and your joints and everything else. So.
Yeah, it's like you take a body part that is already genetically strong, and training it that explosive, almost reckless way. It works until it doesn't. I've noticed that same thing with my back. My back has always been a pretty easy body part for me to grow. I grew it primarily through I grew it through rowing 405 underhand Yates rows with terrible fucking form. And then
I've seen you doing those dumbbell rows, chest supported on the incline. I'm like, man, he's rowing a lot of weight there.
I'm doing the 130s. I'm trying to do the 150s Wednesday.
Yeah.
We'll see. And then when Joe switched, like that's my most meat and potatoes thing now that I have on back day. I used to do like bent rows, RDLs, maybe even a deadlift, a single arm dumbbell row of like the 150s, like croc rows, if you've ever done those.
All on the same day too, I'm sure.
Yeah, all on the same day and twice a week. But then having 30, 40 sets of back that was just violence and trimming it down to about 11 or 12 sets of more precise work. My back.
I was listening to you yesterday. That podcast y'all did yesterday. That Vieira guy. I was hearing you talk about that, doing the 2 back days a week, and how you realize it's just just too much.
It kind of sucks because I love it.
You enjoy it, yeah. It's fun.
But it's just through changing that training, it took because you can only grow so much just through raw, brutal strength without having a true accuracy on the muscle.
Yeah, exactly.
And it finally, now with Joe having changed my training, it kind of just took it to another level, and my back has continued to grow while I'm not even focusing on it right now. I'm just focusing on legs.
See, I think there's a correlation between that. Like, I don't want the people to be watching this who are just starting out and think like, okay, I don't need to push weight. I don't need to train hard. I need to just focus on the contraction. The thing is that if you're just starting out, you don't know how to
it's a balance beam. It's in between.
I've been training for 10 years. And I just learned it.
Yeah, you still need to.
10 years in.
There's benefit for people just getting started that are benching like 135, maybe not even 225, to really push those numbers, maybe with some bad form, and then later on learn. Okay, I've built up this strength, this base now with my core and all this fun stuff. Now I can kind of like taper it back a bit more and focus on a more controlled form, I guess you could say, if you get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, just refine it over time. Yeah,
refine. Yeah,
I'm glad you said that because that's a big important point. Like you starting out a certain way, barbells, dumbbells, big believer in that. Like if you can barbell squat, if you can barbell deadlift, barbell bench press, I think you should.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It builds a great baseline. But everything works until it doesn't. Eventually, you have to get more precise.
Yep.
That was my foundation. That's what I always told people when they would ask me, like, how do I get like you? I'm like, well, I will tell you, building up the big three, while they're not something that you necessarily have to hold on to 10 years down the road, unless you're a powerlifter, I think that they are the three most solid movements for developing basically your entire body. You know, given a couple areas that might not get so much work, like say biceps, for example, but you're going to get an all around base, and then over time, like now, I couldn't tell you the last time I did a regular conventional deadlift. If I did a conventional deadlift, I'd be weaker than, of course, I was at my strongest point. And if I were to go back to conventional deadlifting, I'd probably get a lot of benefit out of it from a short period of times. And I've listened to a lot of professional bodybuilders talk about how, you know, they might not conventional deadlift anymore, but they might go through training cycles where they will introduce deadlifts for maybe a 6-week period, and, you know, get the benefits from it while they can, and milk the benefits without, you know, having extreme central nervous fatigue, and then eventually, you know, pull it from their programming again. And I think the same way about barbell squats. I miss them so much, but right now with my mobility, I'm like, can I even get under a barbell anymore? I don't even know if I can. It's difficult with my elbows, you know, mobility and everything. So yeah, man, it's going back to what we were saying, though, I'm going to try not to go on a tangent here, but talking about the gym pen, that's newer gym gear. Yeah. You know, it makes me think, like, when I first started, I remember Googling, like, okay, what are some training gear you should have? Lifting straps, a lifting belt. Then I remember going into the gym for the first time and seeing some guys who would wear a lifting belt on every single thing they train. Oh, yeah. You could be doing forearm curls and they would be wearing a belt, that kind of stuff. And so I realized very early on, it's like, it's basic. You don't need any of the training gear. The training gear should only be there to assist you when you get to points where, you know, there are certain areas that are going to be compromised, whether it's to stabilize your muscles or joints. You know, that's the only reason that you should use them.
Yep, I just brought back into play my elbow cuffs because when I'm pressing the 130s or heavier, I have to have them. Otherwise, my elbows are just going to scream. At least right now. Maybe like once I get some of this water weight off of me and my joints are inflamed to hell, maybe I can take them off. We'll see.
It's funny because the training gear thing. Since I've gone back into powerlifting, because we've been talking about powerlifting a little bit.
Yeah.
I've been
absolutely
mentioning, I guess you say, name dropping it. Since I've been going back into it, I did not use knee sleeves or anything, no belt even, up until like a 500 squat. Wow. And then I just recently, the guys that I've been squatting with, they're really heavy powerlifters, like 700-pound squatters here. Guys I've been squatting with, they looked at my shoes one day and they said, "What are you wearing?" And they're the same old Nikes I've been squatting in since I was.
You've been wearing it for many years. Yeah.
Yeah. I've competed in them. I've taken state records in them. And they're like, "How do you squat in those?" They're like, "You need flat shoes. You need some actual powerlifting shoes." And I was like, "All right, well, let me try them real quick." I tried them, and for like deadlifts and whatnot, just gear. It just not gear, but not steroid gear, but the weightlifting gear. It makes hell of a difference. So you definitely don't need the gear per se, but whenever you need something, but whenever you've earned it, I guess
you don't need it until you need it.
Yeah, exactly. Whenever you I like to say earn it in a way.
Yeah,
because
that makes sense. Because like, should you see those videos of the guys who, like, they got slingshots on, the elbow wraps on, and their bench is like 225. The fuck exactly. Yeah. There's a guy at my gym who he benches 405, but he only benches in a slingshot. His warm-up sets in a slingshot. His incline bench in a slingshot. Oh, and elbow reps on top of that.
So really, he only benches like 365 or maybe 335 or something.
I don't think he can do 315 raw, probably, with good form.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
It makes me want to get back into benching, man, because like that was one of the few things that I was good at. So it's like, man, I just want to throw some slag iron around here. I just want to throw some slag iron on and put these people to shame. But it's like, you just got to calm down that ego and do what's actually beneficial for you.
I'm kind of the opposite, though, because I remember hearing you also, because I was listening to that podcast earlier today, the one from yesterday, and you had mentioned that we talked about this. There's always like we're all different the way we're built anatomically. Yeah. Some people are built better for flat benching, some incline. I've always been a stronger incline bencher, even like shoulder press. I technically, man, I can only imagine what my dumbbell shoulder press could be right now. When considerably, I used to dumbbell shoulder press more than I ever flat bench press with dumbbells. Oh, wow. I would do like 120s for sets of 10 to 12, but that was back when I could barely bench 100 pounds for, sets of 8 to 10 or whatever. So I kind of I don't know what it is. I guess maybe my shoulders just get a lot more activation. And so that's where I find some difficulty, but I do now that I'm a lot more meticulous about the way I train. I do feel it a lot more in my chest, but it's just something kind of interesting. I tease myself. I'm like, man, I wonder if I could flat bench again. Cause I'll tell you, I remember growing up in school and always being accused of being on steroids, of course, when I was way natural, barely going through puberty because I had just advanced so quickly on certain movements. I remember specifically at 15 years old benching 275 for 5, and that was the time I ended up fucking. I'm not gonna say I tore it, but I strained the hell out of my labrum and I had many months of rehab because of that. But I was easily benching 315 by the time I was 15 years old.
That's fucking
then I did that 275 for 5, and that's when I injured myself, and I was terrified to bench from there on. So Steve, you may remember, but by the time I was 16 to 18, I started doing a little bit of powerlifting, but my bench always lagged. Like I was able to squat 600 at 18, but I didn't ever touch any more than I think 345 at the time on bench because I was terrified to progress it. I was terrified I was going to snap my shit up again. So. Yeah. And even now, when I see guys repping out 405, I'm like, dude, if I was doing that, I'd fucking tear something. I just know it.
Yeah, the mental blocks are absolutely a thing. I remember back when raw strength was more of a focus of mine. If you catch me on a bad mental day, I'm literally moving probably 30 pounds less.
Yeah,
I never have bad mental. I wish.
That's how it is for legs, dude. I can just fucking squat whatever.
Whenever I was a teenager, there was no such thing as a bad mental day, and that's because of Daniel. The whole entire reason I was lifting as much as I was because of Daniel.
Yeah.
I was like, this motherfucker, I gotta catch up.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we basically raced, I feel like. But, of course, we had to compare by weight class because, of course, he's 5'6", I'm 5'9".
Yeah.
So I didn't have going to be a little difference.
Don't take away my inch. I got an inch on there.
Sorry, 5'7".
Yeah.
Well, I used to say I was 5'10", but if you actually take a tape measure, I'm like 5'9" and 3/4", so I round down now.
I used to say I guess maybe I did used to be like 5'10" and a half, but every time when they hided me in, first off I wasn't like super like high up, right? I just okay, I'm gonna try to get some inches out of this. I'm just kind of be relaxed. They said 5'8". I'm like, oh fuck no, I'm 5'9". Yeah. So that was but I didn't have anybody to really push me like that at that young age because all the people that I was working out with was a powerlifter, but he was very form based. Like he didn't lift with emotion at all. And then the other guy, this guy's just a fucking genetic phenom, man. This is the type of guy where he would not work out for 6 months. He would come back into the gym and he would hit a PR.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. But he was always injury prone though. So that was that was his blessing, his curse. So we all have our different strengths and weaknesses. We're all put together a certain way. But I want to dive a little bit into the powerlifting side of things. I'm curious to see how that kind of bounces off of what me and Daniel are doing right now compared to what you are, Steve. Yeah. How does your training right now differ compared to what it did, let's say, 6-8 months ago?
So it's definitely the main difference is just the compounds being added in. I still the guy that I tutor Japanese who was doing the training for. I say was because I guess I'm not going to go into that, I guess, because I don't know if that's public information or not. But he was working with Brady King, basically. Simply put.
Oh, okay. I see what you mean. Yep.
During his training, he likes to call it power building, which I guess is what you could call it. A lot of people don't like that term. Yeah, a lot of people don't like that term because they're like, you can't do both. I disagree. If you look back, I think that's more of a today thing where people say you can't do both. If you look back at people like Doug Young and Derek Poundstone and Nicholas DePries is a current guy who is a pro bodybuilder and a pro powerlifter.
Oh, there's Justin Harris.
Yeah, there's plenty of guys or who Stan Efferding.
Yep.
Plenty of guys who are able to accomplish both. But anyways, I'm going off track. The main differences between the training that I was doing whenever I was purely bodybuilding is just compounds being added in.
Okay.
So I have my upper day and my lower day, which is Monday and Tuesday, and then I have a rest day, and then I have a pull push legs day, or pull push legs, which is Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Then I have a second rest day on Sunday. So I have a heavy squat day on Saturday. I have not a heavy, but I have a deadlift day on my Thursday. And then in between there, Friday is my push day. That's more of a bodybuilding focus. So I have a bodybuilding focus day in between my heavy powerlifting compound days. And then Monday is my other heavy powerlifting focus day, which is a bench day. but it's also an upper day, so I still have like some back work in there, more hypertrophy back work. However, back right now is a strong point for me, so I'm not as focused on bringing that up. So I'm okay having that kind of like fall off to the side for right now. Then Tuesday is a hypertrophy focused leg day, I guess you could say. So I break it up such that I am giving rest in between every single heavy compound. And with my training, also having bodybuilding focus, it is not optimal. I will say that because I have to, if I was only focused on powerlifting, I'd be giving a lot more. I'd be doing squats, bench, and deadlift a lot more throughout the week. I only do it once per week right now.
On the same day,
yeah, on the same day. I'd be doing it on the same day sometimes. I don't do it on the same day right now because my joints can't handle it, simply put. With doing bodybuilding alongside it, my joints can't handle it. If I was doing purely powerlifting, I think my joints would be able to handle it. It's not like I'm pushing crazy numbers currently to the point of not being able to do squat, bench, and deadlift multiple times per week, because I know plenty of other guys the same age as me who are pushing heavier weights and they're the same height, around the same weight, who are able to bench, squat, and deadlift multiple times per week. They're just not doing as much extra work for bodybuilding purposes.
It also just depends on your individual recoverability, right? Like, you know, like for example, me and Dan are both 5'9". Doesn't mean we're gonna have the same exact like leverages on lift and recovery. Everybody's super different. So like the way you've programmed out your split there is very individual to you. Question on that: upper, lower? Is that something that you've done before? I don't think I've ever heard you talk about
that. I've played around with it whenever I was bodybuilding. I did not like it though.
I didn't think you did. I didn't think you did. That's why I'm asking.
I did not like it for bodybuilding. For current purposes, it's really nice. So I can see progression in both. I'm seeing progression on both sides with physique and strength. So what's working right now is working right now. So that's why I'm still doing it.
Yeah, you got to be very fluid with your training. Like shit. I mean, just as early as every 4 to 6 weeks, your training can be tweaked if you need to.
Exactly.
He's right on the money though about the whole joint thing, because what he's describing right now is exactly what the young and reckless version of me did not do. I took a version of the Jim Wendler's 531 program and thought to myself, but I still want to be a bodybuilder, but all I have at home is this squat cage to do my squat, bench, and deadlift in. So I just took it upon myself to essentially take the Arnold split and mesh it with the Jim Wendler's 531, two entirely opposite programs. You're doing high volume versus low volume training. And so I was training 6 days a week with a mix of Jim Wendler's 531. And while I had great progression in strength, the one thing that could not keep up was my tendons. My elbows were absolutely fucked because I was doing low bar squats. And so by the time I'd get done with my low bar squats for the day, I couldn't even pick up a water bottle and drink it because I was so inflamed. And of course, again, I knew what I was doing wrong, but because I was young, like 16, 17, 18, I just couldn't accept that I was not able to recover from it. And for some reason, like I wish I could go back in time now, because hearing him, I'm like, man, if you would have just been more strategic, you probably would have been a little bit better, maybe. But there's always a good thing for everything, and I feel like that actually happened. That caused me to say,
exactly,
is this really what I want to do, or do I actually want to be a bodybuilder like I've always wanted to be? Because that was back when me and Stevie used to be in a group chat, and I remember, I'm going to name drop here. You remember Hunter? Hunter used to always talk so much shit about all of us, dude. And he would like tell me like, you're fucking worthless. You're never going to be a bodybuilder and this, that, and the other. And call me a fat ass. Cause I looked like a powerlifter at the time. I didn't have a good physique. And I just think I think the irony there now is like, that guy's probably fallen off and doesn't even work out anymore.
the guy who was,
I don't care what you say. When you say that you just look like for a teenager, like you did not look like a powerlifter.
Probably a fluffy bodybuilder, you know, just a little fluffy.
Yeah, exactly.
That was just a fluff ball,
And early on fluffy, but every bodybuilder has their
every single guy, man. Yeah. This is my own body dysmorphia.
You have to, right?
You see what a powerlifter, not to hate on powerlifters at my gym, but that's not a powerlifter.
It's a different look.
You're right,
dude.
You're right, man.
I feel fat right now, and then I just look at my powerlifting friends and be like, oh, I'm good.
Yeah, man. I know. Hey, I got to ask, Anson. I got to ask, how's the GH hands for you? Are they swelled pretty bad?
They're like fucking awful.
I tell you, it's only been a week, dude. It's only been a week, and I can already feel how less like full of water they are. But dude, my coworkers, I don't know what it is. Like, I've never gotten comments, but the last like maybe 2 or 3 months, people left and right are like, dude, you got big ass fucking hands. And I'm like, have they really gotten that much bigger? And now I'll tell you, I wear gloves at work, rubber gloves when we're working on oily, greasy shit. The XL gloves are not fitting me anymore. They used to fit just fine.
Dude, I had to buy 2 XL gloves the last time I needed them for helping my parents out with some gardening stuff. It was fucking impossible to find them. But my feet have definitely grown from growth. That's for sure. I'm wearing a 13 wide now. I started out at
that's crazy.
10 and a half in May.
No
after my
way.
Show. Yeah. Now, mind you, that's like contest peak. Like you're dried out. Your feet have no water.
That's true.
And they were 10 and a half. I realistically probably needed to be wearing an 11, but they were just a little tight. But still, 13 wide is a bit of a fucking difference. And these
I was going to say, I haven't experienced that. I'm about a 10 and a half or 11 as well. But unless I'm just severely undersized on shoes right now, which I don't think I really am, I'm certainly don't need a 13. But that's crazy, man. You think that's just from the swelling, though? Some of it?
I mean, I've been wearing these 13 wides even when I was like 215, 220. So that was very short, like 16 weeks after the rebound. So I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's just hard to imagine the GH would really actually cause that much kind of possible growth.
I know,
right? If it is, that's crazy, man.
We'll see when I cut it out, I guess. I don't even know. I don't even know if I have enough time to do all that. But I've got a kind of a cruise phase coming up, and I'm curious to see what we're going to do with that, because he's calling it a pre-prep cruise, which I've not really ever done one of those before. Every time I've gone to the contest prep before now, it's just regular cruise.
Straight in.
Yeah. Like food would always be static. Nothing would ever be like really messed with. It's just like, oh, you're not on drugs now. That's it.
Yeah.
So I think that one of the main goals that he's listed is that we're going to try to continue to lower cardio to basically 0 days a week if possible.
I heard that. You said 2 or 3 days right now, right?
And now, 3 days right now. And now he's got my steps down to 8K. And then I think he wants to take it even further. But like to only get 8K steps, I'm having to actively like try to stay off my feet. When I see clients check in with me and they have a 6-7K step goal and they get 2,000 steps in like an average of a week,
you have to literally just sit all day and not move.
I'm like, are you a bum? What are you doing?
I mean, you guys know I work from home. It's a desk job.
Yeah,
I work at the computer all day. I have to actively try to get in 10K steps. So when on work calls, I'll walk for like 10 minutes during my work calls and whatnot whenever I'm not talking. And just by lunchtime, I have about 6K. I always get in 6K steps that's just 30 minutes total of walking throughout the day during those calls. If I just sat all day, I think I probably would be around.
You could be less than 1,000 for sure.
I think I'd hit 2K just from like getting up and walking to the bathroom.
I was about to say, I probably get 5K a day just from getting at the piss, man. That's something I've got to figure out too at bedtime, man. I think half of my sleep issues is just because I wake up probably 10, 15 times.
I wake up and pee.
Man. It's bad.
How early do you pull water? Because I know you said you drink about 2 gallons right now.
I've done as early as 3 p.m. And
really?
It didn't make a substantial difference.
That's crazy.
I think it's just that I retain so much because I sent you guys my nighttime weight earlier.
Your nighttime weight, dude, you drop a lot. Yeah. Holy.
Yeah, I'll go from that was the 267. That was either Saturday night or Sunday night, and then this morning I was 251.4.6, and that bedtime.
Now let me ask: is that 267? Or is that like fully clothed, or do you strip? Like
I have like pants. I have like pants and a shirt on, but no shoes.
Okay.
With that 267.
So cheap.
Yeah.
I only ask because I know it makes a difference.
Well, when I weigh myself in the morning, I'm normally like I'm not wearing a shirt, but I'll wear pants sometimes if I'm that lazy. My check-in day, I always make sure there's nothing on, which is easy because you just got done being in trunks. But that nighttime weight, I don't know if it's like that big of a deal, but I think my body just like holds so much water that's why I have to restrain it every night.
Because water is going to be the heaviest aspect. So like you always think it's the food, but honestly, you add up 2 gallons of water, that's 16 pounds. So I
almost wonder like if it wouldn't be a bad idea for me to take a low dose of diuretic like in the morning.
Yeah,
I've done that in the past, but Joe doesn't.
Hydrochlorothiazide or something.
Yeah, Joe doesn't like to do that just for the potential issues with kidneys, and I get it. So,
Yeah, Alson's got me doing a low dose of HCTZ right now. It's like 12.5 milligrams. I don't even really see a difference with it though. So
no, you need like 25 to even feel it, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that was just me complaining about the numbness in my sleep, which now that's immediately already gone away now that I've dropped 7 pounds. But
most of my you go on.
I was gonna say it's kind of crazy. I've so PED side of things and powerlifting. I can't give a lot on that because I'm still running my bodybuilding drugs. I know it works for me. I don't like well, I mean, I run the same things either way.
Yeah.
But powerlifters, they from I've talked with them, they really like DECA and they really like test. I don't like DECA, and the orals that they use, they just like Anavar, and they like some of them like Halo, and then some of them like Anadrol. D-ball, I haven't heard a lot about.
Sorry, T-ball, Turinabol.
T-ball, yeah, a lot of them.
Yeah, I didn't mean Dianabol.
Yeah, D-ball the pumps would be too bad.
Like T-ball, but
you wouldn't be able to deadlift.
Yeah, they like Anavar a lot more, so they do for some reason, which I was surprised.
It's because of the neural drive. The neural drive is like a big deal with Anavar for some people.
I was like, I personally like Anadrol, but anyways, what I was going to say is I've been pushing the growth hormone up, so I have a bit more. That's one thing powerlifters don't use. That's also why the diet differs so much for a lot of powerlifters. For me, again, my diet still resonates a lot more with bodybuilding. It's differed a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm eating a little more fat, so I am, just because it's better for the nutrients and the nutrients I'm getting from it, which is a bit more beneficial for the strength side of things. But I'm pushing my growth up. I keep on going off track here. I'm sorry.
You're good.
I'm pushing my growth up, and I'm not getting the like crazy water retention yet, which is crazy for me because I used to get a lot of water retention. I'm up to 9 IU every night now.
Oh, okay.
And
I'm not getting.
You're actively putting on weight though, because that's the thing that I always gather from growth hormone. It's like when I'm in prep, of course, or even in a maintenance weight. Like right now, like I said, we've pulled back calories. I've dropped a little bit of weight, and immediately, even on 8 IUs of growth, I'm like, oh, I feel fine right now. But as soon as I'm driving up weight and driving up the calories, that's whenever I start to notice all the water retention.
That's what I think it is, because I'm just now starting to really push the carbs a bit more.
Glycogen load, man. You're just so glycogen loaded. You're freaking holding water everywhere.
Yeah.
Top of insulin too.
So I'm just now starting to really push that up a bit more. So I think give me a few more weeks. That's why I told you earlier today in the group chat. I was like, give me a few more weeks. I'm probably going to be there at the point where I'm bending over, getting lower back pumps and stuff like that.
Yeah. So it gets bad, man.
You might want to actually be a little careful.
You like it for the first week?
I kind of like it a little bit. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. I kind of like it for like the first week or two because I'm like, ooh, this is cool. What's happening? And after the first few weeks, I'm like, bro, I'm tired of this.
Yeah, I'm like in pain just trying to pull plates off of a leg press or something because my back is so pumped up.
Dog, I had to do 4 sets of hip thrust and 4 sets of good mornings for my first 2 exercises of leg day. I was fucked.
Also, that's why. Just quick note. That's why a lot of powerlifters' diets, I think at least, their diets differ with like higher fats.
Yeah.
It keeps them fuller. It's better. Fats you generally get a lot more nutrients in, so it's better for recovery. Simply put, but
and a great excuse to eat Pop-Tarts and shit, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, a lot of the bodybuilders anyways.
I will say this about powerlifters:
they're not pushing insulin and growth hormone like us, so they don't have to worry about the partitioning of fats as much, I guess you could say.
Okay.
Have you known any powerlifters I've never even heard of a powerlifter taking insulin before, other than like a diabetic.
No, I've never heard of powerlifters using growth or insulin. Maybe like a low dose growth just for sleep and recovery.
Larry Wills.
Well, he don't count.
But
He's like, I'm gonna use every fucking drug. What the fuck?
Yeah. I wonder if it'd be beneficial for them though, because I don't know about you guys, but honestly, I feel like Humalog is directly performance enhancing to me, like in terms of strength, recovery, everything. I get a great.
I think
there's too much of a cocktail for me to say.
True.
I think there's too much going on for me to truly say. And honestly, the way Stevie just mentioned protocols for powerlifters, it actually kind of picked my brain for a minute because I feel like if I had to decide, because like he mentioned not having good response to DECA, I feel like if I were to go into powerlifting nowadays, I would be just high dosing the hell out of test, using some kind of AI to manage my estrogen, and then maybe using a very low dose of NPP just for the joint protective benefits on top of the growth hormone. Can you imagine like the amount of possible synovial fluid that you'd be able to, have in your joints for recovery's sake?
Yeah.
It's kind of weird to hear that powerlifters aren't utilizing growth hormone because, I mean, talk about recovery, dude.
Yeah, that's that was my thoughts, but that's why I mentioned the diet side of things, because whenever you use growth hormone and insulin, you want to push the carbs because you have the uptake and that, so you do. But they just don't. I don't know why, actually. Like, I've heard of a couple of powerlifters using it, but they use it at a low dose they use it at a low dose for the sleep benefits and the recovery. But I would be thinking, if you want to push like water weight, if you're really pushing body weight up, then growth hormone and insulin would be a great thing to do. But I don't hear a lot of powerlifters use it. They just, instead of utilizing carbs, they utilize junk food and fat. So
that's
my thoughts on it though. Go ahead, Anson.
You're talking about like most of like the raw powerlifting community, right?
It's just general, like open powerlifters.
Here's the thing, though. You ever heard about Dave Tate's bloat maxing?
I have heard of that,
bro. he would take like, because he was good friends with John Meadows, so John Meadows kind of did a similar thing. He would take like fucking 20 or 36 or 18 IUs of Serostim or some shit before a meet. Take a bunch of drugs, like anti-diuretic drugs, just to get as bloated as fucking possible. Like,
what the fuck, really?
Yes, dude. Dave Tate has some awesome stories. I used to love watching his podcast. But you were saying, Dan?
Oh yeah, like the bloat's a real thing in powerlifting, because I was talking to some of the because I have a meet coming up here. It's just a warm up meet, so I'm not like doing anything crazy for it. But I was talking to one of the powerlifting buddies, I guess you could say, and he said, "So, what's the meals looking like? Are you going to do pre-workout or anything?" I said, "Oh, pre-workout. Yeah, I'm just going to do like some injectable anadrol and stuff like that." No, he's like, "No, I mean like actual pre-workout, like meals." I was like, "Oh, yeah, no, yeah." But
oh man, injectable anadrol, huh?
I got some. I'm not using it yet. Not using it yet. I want to use it.
Let me know about how the PIP goes, and let me know how if it's worth the cost effectiveness.
Is that from where I think it's from?
Really a lot more expensive.
Yeah, it's where you think.
Okay, let me know how that goes.
What I know as well, or is this different?
I'll give it a test drive just for fun, but I don't plan on using it for a while. But
I've heard guys swear by it, man. Honestly.
Yeah. Anyways, where I was going with that, again, off track. The bloat thing. The guy who was telling me, because how they set up powerlifting meets usually is they start with like your squat, then they go into bench, then they go into deadlift. So he was telling me, well, I normally don't like to eat a lot for like squat because I don't want to be, shitting myself, simply put. But then he said, right before I go into bench press, he said, I want to be really bloated for bench press.
Right,
so I fill up, sit there with like a cheesecake or a Subway and just like get bloated as I can. That way, whenever I'm bench pressing and bloated, the stomach's there, it comes up and stuff like that. So am I doing that? No, I don't. Like my goal isn't, I don't. For me, it's more so. I prefer raw strength. I don't want to cheat my strength with that. So, yeah.
Yeah, adding filler. It's like adding filler in a bodybuilding show. But no, what you bring up is a great point, because when you think about the bodybuilding and the powerlifting community, it's such a niche sport, no matter how popular it gets. Yeah. And so it makes me wonder, when you talk about protocols that you've heard of being utilized in powerlifting or different types of training styles, it makes me kind of wonder, because it's the same as bodybuilding. We all have the end goal of wanting to, well, potentially if you want to step on stage, we all have the same goal in mind, but we all might have this different view of what that might take to get there. Somebody might think that they need to spend an hour and a half on the Stairmaster 5 times a week to get there, whereas one guy's like, oh, I'm just going to walk on the treadmill for 30 minutes on incline, and I'm going to get the same fucking desired result. So it makes me wonder with powerlifting, it's like, there's going to be more than one way to skin the cat, right?
Yeah.
There's different drug protocols. There's going to be powerlifters that swear by not doing cardio whatsoever, because I remember being told at one point how doing cardio is going to affect my muscle growth. So when I was a natural and I was young, I was like, oh, I can't do cardio. I'm going to lose my muscle. I won't put up. No, I just need to fucking eat more protein. I just need to eat more food in general. And so it just makes me wonder, like, if you actually want to be the most well-equipped powerlifter, the most strategic at your sport? Is it just, like he said, bloat maxing and not fucking doing cardio and just being a fat fuck? Or is there going to be a fine line? Because I guarantee most powerlifters probably subscribe to the idea of just not doing those things because they're lazy. Yeah. And it's not to knock on powerlifting. I just think it's very easy to say, I'm going to be purely raw strength and I'm not going to worry about anything else besides that.
Yep. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of powerlifters that do that, but there's some powerlifters up here that I know that. So Curtis, I know you know who I'm talking about, Anson, the guy that I was telling you about who.
Yes.
But yeah. Curtis Miller. I think whenever he was really like competitive in powerlifting, he probably verged from that because I know that his diet wasn't the best. But I know that since he's retired, and the people that he works with, like his clients, he pushes on his clients. Okay, let's do a bit more recovery. Let's do a bit more cardio. Let's actually keep your cardiovascular system up, because something I realized as well is just adding in, you know, like the Stairmaster, some steady state Stairmaster, but getting my heart rate up to like 130 or 140.
Increase your capacity.
It increased my recovery ability as well. And a guy that I really like, who's a strongman, and he coaches his brother. They're the Sheether brothers, Shetthar, on YouTube. The strongman one, he's in his mid-20s, I think. Looks older than that because strongman and drugs.
We've all had that conversation.
Freakishly huge genetics usually too. Strongman.
Yeah, his
hell usually.
Well, actually, he's a shorter strongman. He's only like 5'9", 5'10".
Oh, okay.
But anyways, something he really preaches is the cardio for increased recovery. So, but there is a lot of powerlifters that just don't do it because they think it's going to affect the recovery. But at the end of the day, I think it'd be a lot more beneficial for them to do it. Same thing with diet. Something that Sam Sheether, again, why I like him so much is, again, he's not a bodybuilder, so he doesn't worry about the physique side of things where you got to be shredded and whatnot. But he preaches nutrients, you know, like Stan Efferding did.
Yeah.
And a lot of, again, if you're a strongman like you know, half Thorn, you need to eat freaking 1,200 calories and you need cheesecake and stuff, then by all means go for it. But if you can get it from nutrient dense foods, then I mean, your inflammation's going to be lower, your recovery's going to be lower. I mean, better.
Or what you eat.
Better. So yeah, exactly. So
yeah, all the best powerlifters that I know personally basically just have a bodybuilding diet with a little bit more fat than I would have. That's it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Another
more body fat on their body for sure.
Yeah.
Another. I think it's becoming more common in powerlifting and strongmen actually to have a more like bodybuilding style diet since Stan Efferding's been, and who's the current world's strongest man who
is it the English dude? I think it's the English dude.
No, it's it might be. I forget his name.
Same. I can see his face right now, but yeah.
Is mine. But his diet is more like the Stan Efferding style, so it is. Yeah. And then another guy, Maximus something, who was working with Shane Hunt, who's a powerlifter. He pushed the more nutrient style diet. And I think it's becoming more common in powerlifting and strongman, which I like to see because they're not focused on the physique side of things, but that's kind of like just a byproduct of, they're still trying to force as much food as they can, but since it's being more nutrient dense and it's less inflammation, you know, you can only force so much clean food. I mean, I can force
100%. Yeah. And I would imagine having to eat 10,000 plus calories a day to maintain your size or whatever. We're talking about strongman, right? Because I've seen those guys diet, and it's like there's only so much that you can put in clean before you're like, all right, I'm gonna go get the fucking cheesecake at Sam's Club and eat the whole thing. You know?
And it's something to be said though about all the powerlifters and strongmen kind of shifting more towards the nutrient dense approach. Their health. There's not very many sports where you see guys pass younger than powerlifting. People will rag on bodybuilding for that. Powerlifting, I mean, like a lot of the greats in powerlifting are dead. The only one that I can recall off the top of my head that is like still in pretty good shape is Ed.
Cohen.
Yes, Cohen. Yeah. A lot of them are gone, unfortunately, just because. And also, is there something to be said about being in a hypertensive state actually resulting in more power output?
I think Pete Rubish talked about it. He said increased blood pressure would have a benefit, and like putting more output into the force, like for bench press and whatnot.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess, you think Anadrol and whatnot, maybe it does, but I don't, and I don't know. I'd have to, I mean, I guess, test the waters. I guess I'll find out. Why not? But
I mean, when you're in a training state, your blood pressure is going to get elevated.
Yeah.
So it's like saying, when my blood pressure is 120 over 80, am I going to go max out on the bench press, or am I going to go ahead and get myself to a more elevated state so my body's primed and ready for that kind of load?
Yeah.
Right.
More so what I mean is living at a consistently hypertensive state.
Yeah. I see what you're saying there. That's what I was saying, though. It's like, so I would imagine you're increasing your blood pressure significantly even higher once you're out of your rested state, because you're already high as it is, which sounds awful.
Yeah, that would, God, the headaches. Like nosebleeds.
Yeah,
Unless
the nosebleeds.
Yeah. Unless you have some type of a condition where like nosebleeds are common for you, bleeding on a bar every time you lift should not be a goal.
That's the only time I got nosebleeds when I did powerlifting.
Yeah, and that was when you were younger. So like who knows what variables were not checked that led to that? Right? Maybe your blood pressure wasn't.
I wasn't doing cardio and all that shit. I wasn't. I honestly, excuses be had. I just didn't. I didn't have a treadmill, and I didn't really. It wasn't a good area to be out in the neighborhood trying to run or walk. So I just whatever excuse be had, right? So I was just lazy. I did jump rope down in the basement, but that was about it. That shit had me winded like crazy. But
I almost miss doing HIIT cardio a little bit, honestly, because I'm constantly so winded. Like even talking right now,
miss, man.
I'm just like can't breathe out of my nose, just like struggling to breathe 24/7. Dude,
my girl makes fun of me for it, dude. She's like, "Why are you breathing so heavy?" I'm like, "Just existing. I'm sorry."
I mean,
you want me to go to the other room?
Well, you're 250, 260 plus pounds. You're not going to breathe like a fucking Yorkshire dog, right? Like you're not going to breathe like a little pug. Well, maybe like a big pug actually, but it's like a giant fucking pug. 250-pound pug is what it feels like sometimes. There's a lot of kind of things you can complain about when you're getting big. Like this is my first off season where I'm like, oh, I finally get why all of these guys complain about the off season being harder than prep.
Yeah,
like I finally get it. And food still going down easy. Like 7,000 calories, I probably could be eating 10 right now, no problem. But everything else, man, the amount of water I'd be holding from eating that much more food, oh god, fuck that.
Are most of your meals solid? Like, when I say solid, because like solid. For example, because I was gonna say like I know Austin had me doing cream of rice for one meal, and that actually does significantly make it easier to get some of it in. But then like having a chicken and rice meal, right?
Yeah.
A little bit more difficult.
Yeah, I have 4 chicken or meat and rice meals, and then I have 2 cream of rice meals, and then I have a Ninja Creamy before bed.
Oh, so you just have more meals, because that was kind of it for me. We only had 5 meals a day, and I was like, man, I feel like I could be doing better with 6, but I guess we'll keep it at 5. 1,200 calories a meal.
I remember hearing Austin talk about him liking that approach for himself in the podcast they released last night, and I honestly think I probably would be doing better on 6 than 7 right now. Just because, honestly, the meals are so small, I could easily eat every hour. I almost feel like I would be.
I imagine the adherence is easier too with less meals.
Yeah.
Do you guys find it easier to get down cream of rice or just straight rice? Because I guess it depends on how you make your cream of rice.
Cream of rice for me, just because it tastes so fucking good. That's why. It's not like like I'm eating more volume of cream of rice. I'm eating 200 grams weight with protein powder and then fruit and all that stuff multiple times a day, and I can eat it in 5 minutes. It just tastes so good. I've got like this chocolate donut protein powder that I drip over top. It's fucking delectable.
You got to have the perfect consistency though, because I have had it a little too dry, and I'm like, ooh, now I feel like I'm eating a fucking loaf of bread right now. It's a little too difficult. But yes, I definitely think the cream of rice is easier, but it's so important, the palatability aspect, because honestly, of all people, I never needed to have flavor on my foods. And Austin had introduced these palatable meals, and I'm like, are you doing this because I need them, or because you're afraid I'm not going to stick to the diet? Because I used to eat chicken and rice with no veggies, no nothing, just salt, and that's it. 5 meals a day, 6 meals a day. But I noticed very quickly, I was like, man, this makes the taste buds start to salivate, makes you start to actually develop, create the digestive enzymes you need to get that food down quicker. And I even learned too, man, I used to just chug water while I was eating, not realizing what I was doing to myself. Diluting my own stomach acid and making it more difficult to get the food down. It's just stupid stuff like that you just don't even understand until you're literally having to learn, how can I maximize my input of food. So
I have to be really, really careful with drinking a lot of water with my meals. That will like just give me horrific diarrhea. Like if I do that, let's say, because the water will just flush everything out. If I were to drink, like, because I'm just naturally very thirsty, that's why I drink like 2.5 gallons a day. I could easily drink like 2 water bottles with each meal. Not good. It would not be good.
You know how abnormal it is that we were like, I was always taught you should drink like somewhere between 92 to 120 ounces of water. When I sit there and I think about that, though, as a human being, before we had the commodities of like clean filtered water and the ability to eat 5 meals a day, it's like, how much water were we actually drinking before it ever became? Because at no point did I think, I'm going to be drinking 16 pounds of this fluid throughout the day. Like, what? That's just crazy to me, man.
Yeah.
Well, I think
do we really need that much to live?
Well, these days, there's also a lot more sodium that's coming in to our bodies.
Yeah.
You can make arguments.
I do a lot of sodium too, especially around my pre-workout time, dude. Like, I do 3 grams of sodium with my first drink of the day, which is half a gallon. I'll do like 3 to 4 grams with my first meal, and 3 to 4 grams plus like some soy sauce. I'm not even tracking.
Oh, so you put salt in your water then?
Yeah.
That's interesting. I like the idea of that. I've thought about it.
Just around the workout though, not after.
Yeah. Well, I guess I should clarify then, because I have an intra drink and it's got 3 grams of salt in it.
Yep.
But I've never thought to. Okay, I got you.
Yeah, just when we're in that state, and especially today, I sweat like a motherfucker. I'm like when we're in that state of depleting ourselves of glycogen and we're dehydrating ourselves, I just want to make sure. I already am not really prone to cramping, but I want to make sure that I don't cramp or injure myself or pull or tear something. That's the last thing I need. Yeah. And I'm really happy that I didn't pull or tear or injure anything when I busted my ass the other day.
Dude, I saw that, man. I was blown away. I was like,
me too.
Well, it happens to the best of us. I know.
Dude, I just didn't see that chair behind me. Like, I was trying to move this bench out of the way that I had put there, by the way. I was trying to move it out of the way. And then there's just this captain's chair or seat behind me that I just completely walk into it full force and tumble.
Yeah.
Fucking terrifying. I was like this
You're
close.
Lucky you didn't hit your head for sure, man.
I was this close to hitting a sharp metal hook on the side of the incline bench.
This dude wouldn't have been in the off season anymore.
I would have been in heaven.
That's called pick up your fucking feet and don't walk backwards. Because trust me, I do the same thing in the gym, and I think, man, you know what really terrifies me? I see, you talk about gym fails whenever you mention it.
Yeah,
I've seen terrifying videos of people just randomly assaulting people in the gym, like straight up throwing plates at people's head, and all I could think is, oh my god, somebody could have the free will to just want to fucking murder my ass right now, and I have no idea it's coming. I'm gonna be in the middle of a set, and somebody's just gonna come over, crazy. Not in my gym. There's so little of people.
That's why we don't piss.
It always goes through my head.
That's why
no, exactly, man.
Yeah.
I do not fight with people in the gym, dude.
No, and if I do, I kick them out after.
Yeah, exactly.
I've had to do that with a few people. It's just like there was actually one case recently where a guy, it didn't really get violent, but once they left, it got violent. You know what I mean? It got violent in the parking lot. So I was like, this guy's getting canceled, and the other guy, he's going to follow him if it continues. Some people just aren't built to be around other people.
I was going to say, I still have dreams of walking into your gym, Anson. Yeah. Like literally in my dreams, I'm walking into your gym, but it's remodeled for some reason. With it's been expanded, but I still dream there. It's
so Steve, you'll know what I'm talking about. Like where a lot of those like shitty Life Fitness pressing, like the pin loaded presses are and stuff. Well, we've probably moved it around since we've been there, but I personally, and tell me if you guys agree or disagree, I believe like a pin loaded press is the most worthless fucking thing on this planet. I just don't think it has a purpose at all. Like I want a plate loaded press, a dumbbell, or a free weight, something like that. I want to get rid of those and get like some either Arsenal, Strive, Prime machines, something like that. Ideally Prime or Strive, because you have the different loading angles that you can do it at. There's just so much I want to do at the gym, especially after like talking to Josh Jefferson, who owns Pivot, and then also Chris Fine, who he had his own gym back in the day. There's just so much I want to do to the gym, but it's like, God, the amount of money you have to fucking renovate a gym.
Oh, yeah, dude.
I want to paint the walls black. I want to get new carpet. I want to replace all this different stuff, but it's going to take like fucking 10 years to do that.
I heard you talking about dumbbells, that you had like 115s, 130s, 150s. And I had gotten curious because technically I'm at the last bit of my dumbbells at my gym, 120s. Yeah. There's nothing higher than that. And I got curious. I was like, I wonder how much it would cost. I looked up a pair of those like plate type dumbbells, like Troy. What am I thinking? Troy. I guess Troy's the right one. But I was looking at them. Man, a singular pair would be like up to $800 to $1,000.
Wow.
Now you can find the rubber hexagon ones, but they're ugly and bulky as fuck. I hate them.
Now, Facebook Marketplace is where everything can be found. I've looked. Some people just don't know what they have. They literally cannot move them, so they need someone to come and get them. So keep your eye out for that.
Yeah.
Literally.
I asked a couple of guys at the gym. I was like, "Would y'all be willing to split on me if I find something?" Because they all want heavier dumbbells too. So I was like, "We'll see if I can get some."
Every gym should have at least 150s. Past that, it's like, I mean,
it's excessive.
Yeah, like realistically, maybe like a single arm row. You're going to have people that can kind of regularly do 200s, but there's not many motherfuckers that are built to press a 200-pound dumbbell.
I think the powerhouse up here might have 200-pound dumbbells up to there. Because I know I've used the 130s for flat dumbbell press, I think. And for me, I mean, my bench press is strong point, so I think I got like 6 or 7 reps with that. But I know that was like the 8th to last heaviest dumbbell, so it definitely goes up past 150. So it probably goes up to like at least 80,
175 or 200 or something.
Yeah, it's just tough, and I wish a lot of people understood this. I feel like everybody should like own a gym for a day just to know it's like. But I wish people realize it's like, at your gym, I'm sure they want to have more than 120s, right? Or in my situation, we have that gap between the 115s, the 130s, and the 150s. I'd love to have 120s, 125s, 135s, 140s, 145s. That's about $10,000.
Oh, I understand that now, and I'll tell you, I was listening to your podcast with Josh, so I heard what y'all talking about, like gyms and everything, and I thought, like, man, I think outside of wanting to be successful, like as a bodybuilder or like an online coach, I've always thought like a gym that would be my home.
Yeah,
owning a gym. But whenever I've looked into it myself, he made a good point. He just got lucky at the time that he had purchased a gym because of COVID. COVID fucked people up. But I'll tell you about the gym I go at real quick, not to make a huge topic about it. It's been passed down to multiple owners for the last, I guess, 20 or so years. All the equipment there is Flex Fitness equipment. It's all discontinued shit before I was even born. And that's why I love that gym. It's the only gym that has that kind of equipment. And I honestly, at this point, I don't expect the gym to get any better or like to expand. The owner, she only had to purchase it because she owns the place next door. It's a gymnastics facility, a little small facility. But the gym owner initially that I met back in 2023 was a sheriff. He ended up dying in a motorcycle accident. I guess he must have swerved into oncoming traffic, unfortunately, or something of that regard is what I heard about. But anyway, she had purchased the place. And I was just happy that she even chose to buy it and keep it running. Yeah. But I don't think not only would I not expect her to afford or be, convinced to expand the place, but I'll tell you, it's out in the middle of fucking nowhere. Like, I live in Clarksville, Tennessee, pretty big city now. When you look up gyms in Clarksville, this one doesn't show up. It's a literal GEM gym out in the middle of nowhere. You don't see it on Google. So when I go there might be 6 members in there at a time. She charges, roughly $30 a month, somewhere around there. Yeah. No contracts, no sign-up fees, no nothing. It's like, this is fucking nice. It's an incredible equipment, but it's not gonna progress at all. But it's honestly, for me, it's the perfect gym for me to develop myself because there's no distractions, there's no people. Sure, I can sit there and pick apart which machines I wish it had. But man, it's great all around. It's great all around, and I sometimes I look at it, and I'm like, I'd love to own a place like this.
I think that is
get lucky.
Yeah, I think that is that's a good topic right there. It's kind of like the fear of missing out on a lot of these new pieces of equipment because I got a fuck ton of that. Because especially owning the gym, it is kind of possible for me to think like, okay, maybe I can kind of get a piece of Arsenal here and there. Maybe I can get this new tech piece. Maybe I can get this prime piece. But realistically,
I'm not going to lie to you. I don't want to cut you off, but a lot of that equipment is overrated.
That's what
I'm sure the primes are nice. I've seen a couple of them where I'm like, man, those backs are nice. I tried a lot of the Arsenal Strength at this new gym here in town. That gym was not worth the price I was paying per month. I tried it for a month, and I was like, $90 for this a month. I was like, I can't warrant this, man. It's just not, and it was too bougie. There was too many fucking people in there that wanted to be wannabe, bodybuilding influencers, and they all have washed up looking physiques that have never, actually stepped on a bodybuilding stage, et cetera, et cetera. But the equipment, don't get me wrong. I tried a couple of the Atlantis pieces, the Arsenal strength pieces, where I was like, man, this Atlantis plate loaded chest press, the incline one, perfect fucking, but I can do dumbbells. I can do dumbbells and I can do whatever, back to the basics, right? We were talking about free weights and dumbbells earlier. I don't know. These machines can't replace everything.
That's what I'm saying, man. I honestly wonder, like, how much of a difference is something that even going to make? I don't think it does.
Dude, watch Ronnie Coleman. I'm sorry, but just watch Ronnie Coleman again. Watch what he trains with.
Exactly.
No matter how fucked up he is, he was the biggest bodybuilder of all time, and there's no fancy pieces in that gym.
Yep.
And like Branch Warren and Jay Cutler, same thing. But I do think some of the new equipment is kind of nice. But if you're gonna get it, Anson, you have to try it before you get it. It's one of those things. So.
You know of Super Fitness? He's one of the guys. He's known in the industry. Like, sponsors the Olympia. Like, big deal. About an hour away from me here. Yeah. Super big facility. Like, it's. God, I don't even know how to describe how big it is, but it's basically just rows and rows.
Like an industrial grade fucking
literally.
gym.
So like you can go. It's about an hour away from me, maybe 45 minutes. You can go there and try out pieces. You can actually trade pieces too.
Really? Okay.
Yes, that's something I'm interested in maybe doing in the future. I would definitely want to try out some stuff. But honestly, I think Prime, you can't go wrong. Like Arsenal, stuff like that. Yeah, maybe a bit nitpicky, but I kind of. You remember that incline hammer press we have, Steve? The white one?
I think so. Yeah.
For whatever reasons, they've got the handles where they go in like this, right? Mirror my hands right there. So a normal incline press, you would want it to go down like this, and you would press up right here. Right?
Yeah.
Our incline, you would have to do this in order, because otherwise your hands are up here.
I remember it, yeah.
Fucking awful. I wanted to do a hammer
incline
triceps
press and shit.
Exactly. I wanted to switch to that machine, but then I was like, we got the fucked up one. Unfortunate. Back to my old plan. So that kind of
I noticed that with a couple pieces.
Yeah.
Even like high-row machines, the single arm high-row machines, the ones that have the underhand style grip, and some of them have multi.
Yeah.
Mine at Gold's Gym has an overhand, and I'll tell you, it doesn't feel good. I go put a D handle on it though, and I can turn to an underhand. That makes all the difference in the machine.
Yeah. For back,
small changes.
For legs, you do have to have good machines. Point blank.
Yeah.
And thankfully, the best machines we do have are leg machines, which is kind of funny. You saying?
Anson, if you can find like the Cybex squat press, freaking love that. It's like the best. Have you used it? Have you tried it?
I've heard of it. I want to get that, and then I want to replace my hack squat with the Cybex hack squat.
That'd be nice, yeah.
We have a Cybex hack squat, dude. Yeah. That is the heaviest fucking hack squat I've ever used.
Yeah. But thankfully, the best equipment we do have is all leg equipment. Like, it just so happens that, like, a lot of that old school Life Fitness equipment is, like, known to be some of the better, like, leg extensions, leg curls, stuff like that. Yeah. Our hammer strength leg press, that's one of the better leg press. Which it's
I've seen your Life Fitness leg extension too. We had that at Gold's, and that thing's perfect. It's like a step down from the Flex Fitness I have, but they're like equivalent, and like I'm getting good isolation here.
Yeah, it's funny looking back that legs like have always been such a weak point for me. It's literally the best fucking equipment we have. Like, what am I doing? But I think with back, you don't need a ton of equipment either. Honestly, just a cable pulley and a lat pull down machine, you can get most of it. And some dumbbells, barbell, you can get done what you need to get done.
Yeah.
Chest is maybe where we start to get into the area, like maybe some specific machines could be useful, just because most of us beat ourselves up for years pressing with a barbell, dumbbells, and dumbbells can only go so heavy, so then that's also another argument for them.
And there's also the setup of dumbbells. Like, I will tell you, there's some physical exhaustion just getting the dumbbells in position versus just having a plate-loaded press, which, I see what you're saying there.
Yeah.
I will tell you, seeing those Mega Mass machines with the perfect linear bearings running,
Dude.
I'm like, if I ever see one of those, I have to try it.
Looks so
I have
good.
to.
Looks so good. I would like to get
it is some jealousy, man. When I see that shit, I can sit there and say, I don't need that, and then I'm like, I want to try it.
I want it though. I don't need it, but I damn sure want it. That's how it feels with a lot of the stuff. Yeah. But I think with back and legs,
I'm gonna dip off here. Let me get some food in me. I'm starting to a little bit hypo, but
yeah,
I didn't have my post workout, so I did take a few workouts.
No, you're not allowed to leave. We're gonna document this hype.
No, I need food
right now.
Sorry, I'm dipping off. But all right, I'll catch you guys later.
See you, bro.
Good talking with you, man.
Good talking to you, Stevie.
All right, now it's just strictly bodybuilding talk, right? Like,
yeah, man. I'm excited to see what he gets to do, though.
Yeah, dude, I can't wait to see his totals. He said what they were going to be. I think he's going to get higher than that. I think he's going to get a little bit higher.
I think he's setting his expectations low because it always comes back better that way. But performance doing all three in one day is a lot different than doing.
It is
just one in a gym PR type setting. That's why I don't think I think I could have been good at powerlifting, but I had no interest in doing all three movements in the same day. I just liked being strong in the gym.
Yeah. I was never great at deadlifting or squatting. I was always decent at benching, but like, do I really want to be a bench?
You say decent? Didn't you bench like 500 or some crazy shit?
I mean, I probably could have. I did like 450 for 8 or 12, something like that.
Whatever, dude.
But I mean, it's like with the block and it's like reverse grip. It's not the same thing.
I don't care, man.
Yeah, I was strong.
I almost just have it on my bucket list that I need to bench 405 once in my life, just to say I've done it.
I will say
that's an ego thing, though.
A lot of like the desire I have to go back to barbell benching kind of gets squashed when I remember like I've done 400 something. Like I don't really have anything left to prove in it.
And this didn't do shit for me clearly, so I need to do something better.
Yeah. Well, out of all the big three lifts, I will say barbell benching probably did more for me than any of them.
I bet it blew up your triceps at least.
Yeah, for sure. I was never great at barbell deadlifting. I was just so awkward. I couldn't do it great. And same thing with squat, low back issues, blah, blah, blah. But barbell rowing did do a lot for me, for sure.
Right.
I think that's definitely a slept-on movement, is like a Yates row.
Yeah, because every person I watch doing barbell rows, there's just a different execution to it. Some people I see they're extremely upright, and I'm like, is that even a barbell row? And then sometimes, like I've done the Pendlay row where you're like basically like stiff, like straight across the floor, perpendicular to the floor.
Dusty Hanshaw doing like 5 plates on the Pendlay row is insane. That's a guy who proves right there you don't need any back equipment. You can just have a barbell and a dumbbell, and you're good to go.
100%, man.
So as much as I would love to have a lot of these more fancy machines, realistically, probably don't need them per se if it's going to be a burden. If I can find them for a deal, I'm going to snatch them up though.
Oh yeah, dude. I know that's what her name's Crystal. That's the gym owner at my gym, and she told me that like there have been people that have been contacting her trying to trade equipment, and specifically one that she had mentioned was the ham tractor machine. It's a hamstring curl machine. It's seated, and it is. If you ever look up the ham tractor, it's a Flex Fitness piece. You see it in a lot of popular gyms.
It's legendary.
It is one hell of a hamstring machine. It's got an assisted bar or assisted handles on the sides where you can press the leg pad down so you can get your legs in there, and then you let back, and now you're ready to go. And so in case you have to spot yourself so you don't want to tear something, you got that in place, but it's the perfect leg curl. And I told her, I was like, I hope you don't ever trade that because that is probably worth $6,000 to $10,000 at least.
Oh, easy. Probably more, honestly.
Probably more.
If it's in really good condition, you get like someone who's
in great condition,
actively trying to collect that stuff. You could get 10 for it, no problem.
Yeah, it's in crazy good condition. So I have a feeling she might take that upon herself one day to sell the gym, which in that case I can't blame her. Because she's doing what she can with it. When I first came back last year, she had just put in a posing room in an upstairs room that wasn't being used. So that was that posing room that you see in a lot of my
she cares
nice looking photos. She did really well with that. And then she has goals to try to get some tanning beds in there, which I thought was pretty neat awesome too. So I think and I've told her too, I'm like, I don't care if I have to pay you double what I'm paying right now per month. This is a steal what you're providing here. So yeah, man, it's a great gym all around. I specifically said when I came back, I said this gym will be the reason I turned pro. Because there's no other gym in Clarksville that will do it for me.
And you mentioned like she had bought it just because it was like a place beside her and stuff like that. And I was thinking, okay, maybe it's just like an investment for her then. But no, everything.
She was the manager there. I should have prefaced that. She was a gym manager there, and she owned the place next door. But the guy who unfortunately passed that owned it, she was like, well, I've got to do right by him and keep this gym running. So she ended up taking over the place.
I can tell you just by her putting like a posing room in, that is not something a lot of owners would do. Like that shows she cares. She
and I had to ask too. I was like, so I can pose in trunks up there? She's like, yeah. Just don't get nude. There's a camera. I was like, I know. I just really appreciate it. Like, this is awesome. I had no idea. And here's the thing too. I just, that's why I knew she was so invested, because she even put the perfect lighting up there. I was like, you don't understand. I've seen some of these other bougie ass gyms in town. They have a posing room, but the lighting is so freaking dim. It's like, oh, these are for the naturals that don't actually have a good physique. They got to turn the lighting as low as possible to get a little mirror selfie. No, this one's like bright ass lights. You can turn it up if you want to, the brightness, and it shows everything on display, which I really loved for my posing practice. I'm looking forward to getting to use it again once I get back in prep.
Yeah.
So,
I got.
You looking forward to that, man?
Yeah, dude. Oh my god, I'm looking forward to prep. Like, I got 3.
What show y'all got planned?
The Gold's Gym Classic in North Carolina, Raleigh, which is our state capital, about 40 minutes away from me too.
40 minutes away from you.
So that's a plus. As far as like if everything goes to plan, Joe should.
Oh, that's that show that you had sent me, and I remember because Trey Ballard, he was the one that won the North American show. He was a heavyweight dude. I looked at him backstage and I just thought, holy shit, dude. Some people are just made for this.
Oh, he's
this guy is made for this.
Yeah, that was like his second show ever, by the way, or something.
Yeah, I know. That was his second. I think his first show was the Gold's Gym Classic, maybe.
Yeah, I think it was.
Because we followed each other on Instagram, and I noticed he had all just powerlifting style background.
Yeah.
And then he did his first bodybuilding show. He won that. He won the overall, and then he wins his freaking pro card. I'm like, yeah, the guy that got second to you, Ranson Lee's been trying to get his pro card for the last 10 years, dude. You got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
This is insane.
But if all goes to plan, Joe should be coming out to peek me in person for that. So that's going to be pretty
awesome, man. That's really cool.
We got a 20-week timeline set for prep, and he plans to have me ready pretty early, at least 3 weeks out, hopefully.
Y'all thinking heavies?
Yeah, he told me that. He said he doesn't really like to guess people's weight when he's not worked with them in a contest prep before, but he's like, I think you'll be in the heavyweight, which looking back at it now, it's different, like on the way up versus down in a prep, right? But in the rebound, when I was 215 to 217, I was in better shape than when I was on stage my last time around. So, that was like 2 or 3 cycles ago. So I figure I should probably be able to compete at minimum 215, maybe as high as 220. I don't know.
I was going to say, I would guess 210 to 220, just being fair with you, because there's just no telling. But it's very likely you'll land within that range.
Yeah, and
that's going to be a significant transformation for you too.
Yeah, getting
to compare to your last stage photos.
I was talking about it in the Discord chat that we have for the show. Everybody, the link for that will be in the description below. If I even just weigh 215, which is kind of on the low medium side of what I expect, that's 30 pounds of stage weight in a year.
I say 30 pounds of stage weight
in a year.
It's gonna be like the AI photos. Add 30 pounds to me.
And it's most importantly though, it's going to be my best condition ever. Because we're getting peeled or we're not fucking doing it. So
there's a difference too whenever you have quite a lot more muscle on you, because that's what I noticed what happens to Stevie, for example. When Stevie competed, when he was getting prepped by Taylor Moore, and I don't mean to name drop here, Taylor Moore was still being mentored by Cameron Cheek at the time. Yeah. And I'm sure you may have seen him. He's got his account being advertised within the sponsored section on Instagram. But I guess he was an inexperienced coach at the time. Stevie kind of trusted him with everything. Yeah. And long story short, I guess it didn't go well. He just fucking killed his thyroid, had him running a shitload of T3. And when Stevie would send me his check-ins, we've had this conversation before, so I'm not trying to make it long. I would just, week after week, I'd see him and think, already peeled. What are you doing? Why are you withering away even more? He's like 155. And I'm like, dude, you're peeled. Maybe 5 pounds. And the next thing you know, he's competing at 130, 133 pounds. I'm like, dude, that guy fucking ate your muscle off. He just killed you. I don't
remember him being that light. That's crazy.
He was skinny, dude. And he'll admit to it, because he realized it was a mistake. Yeah. But once you get into that mindset that you're going to fucking do this competition, there's nothing that's going to pull you back. And once you start losing that muscle, what do you do to stop it? Especially whenever you're putting your faith in this coach to do right by you, right?
That is the number one thing that I'm looking forward to with Joe, is because my other 2 contest preps with a different coach, it's just we just ran me into the ground for either 16 or 19 weeks respectively. And there would always be a point, I think at 12 or 10 weeks out respectively for each of those shows, upper body completely ready, diced, actually leaner than when I got on stage. And then as my lower body would start to get in shape, the upper body would just kind of whittle away.
Started to shrink. That happened to me too, man. It felt like over time, my upper body started to shrink.
And I'm sure you probably didn't give yourself a lot of refeeds with self-coaching, being hard on yourself, right?
I will tell you, unfortunately, I think a lot of that played a role with the Reddit True Tide because I'll put it this way. My first prep that I would call successful self-coached was my one that I did Night of Champions 2024 here in Chattanooga. And that one I didn't come in at the best condition I could have, but it was better than my first show, which had been at like 2 or 3 years prior. But that one I didn't have any kind of, hunger signaling suppressant peptides, drugs, whatever. Yeah. And so that was 100% just will and discipline. And because I was still so uninformed on how to manage the stressors of hunger, my sleep was impacted heavily. I was getting maybe 6 hours on a good night. Most of the time it was 4 or 5 hours. And I was dieting myself into a fatigue hole. And on top of that, I've told you, I didn't know when to tell myself to take a rest day. I thought I could train 7 days a week and be fine, and that was stupid. And I thought I could just let all the drugs do the work to keep me recovering. That's not how it works. So then the next show, obviously, prepping for Tennessee State, Reddit True Tide was into the mix. So one thing was changed. It was the hunger signaling. So no longer did I have the mental stress of physical hunger. Yeah. I didn't have to sit there and think about how hungry I was. So my sleep wasn't impacted. And so because my sleep and my hunger wasn't impacted, whereas before, the way I would incorporate refeeds was based on hunger signaling, unfortunately. Because I would kind of monitor I would monitor my weight loss, but then there would come a point where I would just it would feel uncontrollable, like I was about to just binge eat. And I'd say, okay, maybe that's a sign that I need to have a refeed or something. And I don't know if that's unfocused, but whatever. If it doesn't refocus, whatever. I would get to a point where, I would notice that performance was dropping off. So I was like, well, maybe I need a refeed. So I would have a refeed. Last prep, though, I was the complete opposite. There was no longer this desire in my head to eat or have refeeds. So I was like, well, as long as performance doesn't drop, I'm just going to continue to just diet. Yep. And that may have been the wrong move. There may have been a point at which I should have just said, we're going to have a scheduled refeed every single week, all the way up to show. So if I actually went back and looked in my notes, I'm pretty sure the first refeed I had of all 20 weeks of prep was probably 8 weeks out.
Oh, wow.
Something like that. So, which I was, of course, coming from a pretty high body fat state at the time. So that might have played a role too. But yeah, something that I think will be different this time. There will be warranted refeeds, even if psychologically I don't feel like I need one.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
Because there's physiological and psychological. There's two different reasons to have.
Yes. If you would have asked me on either one of those preps, do you want a refeed? I would say no. Because then once you give it to me, that's all I'm going to be thinking about. I don't want it. But
that's exactly why I didn't do it.
Yes.
That's exactly why I didn't do it. But I was worried I'd get dependent on it. Yeah.
And it's like, man, for me, the big thing is performance. Because I would lose all of my strength. I went from benching, I think I've talked about this before, I went from incline benching 3 plates to less than a plate by the end of contest prep.
Yeah, I remember you said that's insane.
Yeah, and that was never, accounted for at all. That was just you got to get flat to not be fat. You got to suffer. You just go straight down.
I always heard that, man.
Which it's true to a point, but if you're losing that much strength, muscle's going with it. My triceps have always been a strong point for me, and they were one of my weakest body parts on stage. Something's wrong there.
Yeah, that should have been a red flag, but unfortunately, it's like once you've gone through it the first time, though, you know what to look out for. You that's really what's been the biggest game changer for me. Was I think that this second prep that I guess I should say third, but this final prep that I did was the biggest learning moment for me. I learned that I was now capable to get in shape. I learned that I was capable to make pretty well-informed decisions for myself, but I may have still been a little too conservative on certain things, specifically peaking. I know I say I had a successful peak. I had a much more successful peak at a time where I didn't even plan on competing. I didn't plan on jumping into Tennessee State until 3 days out, like I had mentioned before. I had seen somebody posted on their story, I'm 3 days out, and I was like, I'm in shape right now. I should compete. So I just jumped in the show. I got her permission. She's in the room now. I got her permission. I was like, hey, I'm sorry, but I think I can win this show.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm going to go back up to maintenance calories. I'm going to have 0 fat and just have 600 carbs. I did that for 3 days, and that was the look. And then on the opposite end, I was prepping for North Americans, and I was like, well, I know I'm not going to be big enough because I'm 1,500 pounds under weight cap. I'm going to err on the side of condition. So in that case, I was like, well, I'm going to try to fill out. And unfortunately, because I didn't throw any fats in there, just having 1,000 carbs for 2 days did nothing for me. I kept dropping weight.
Like crazy.
Yeah, it ran through me. I was flat as hell on stage. I mean, I was conditioned, but I was flat. I think having Austin alongside me, I think I can put faith and say, you know what? Even if I spill a little bit, I'm going to look fucking crazy.
Yeah.
because what I was going to say to you, and that was kind of where I got off on a tangent, was the 215. If you get 210, 215 on stage, you're going to look significantly more conditioned because you have that much more muscle pushing out the surface of the skin.
Yeah, like
so
I don't think
it's crazy.
I don't think it's physically possible for me to get under 200 pounds again. Like, I think I would have to actively like do something.
I don't think so.
But even if I did, I think the look would still be better. And that's the fucked up part, is that I did all of that suffering, the 19 weeks straight or whatever. I lost all that strength, and it still didn't result in me being peeled on stage. That's the fucked up part.
There was a guy just like that. I ended up listening to a lot of his content for a while. Paul Barnett.
Oh yeah.
His anabolic bodybuilding on YouTube. Yep. But he talked about his 80-pound stage weight transformation in like a year. Yeah. But he just did every single thing wrong for that first bodybuilding prep, where like he literally ate all the muscle off his body, and that was what I was terrified of. I was going to lose all my muscle. So I guess it's a first time for some people, man. It's like some people have such an extreme mental fortitude that you don't know when to let off the gas.
Yeah. In my first show,
on the other hand, some people just don't show up in shape at all.
And on my first show, I looked like how Paul did. Like, I was just stripped. I was actually, looking back at it, I probably was actually like show ready my first show, but I was 170 pounds. So it's like, it is what it is. But then for that second show, that was really probably just more of like there were a lot of issues there. But regardless, I'm really looking forward to this show actually being kind of full and lean, and having just the whole approach, like from how I've heard Joe talk about contest preps and how we're going to be implementing a lot of these new peptides. That's going to be cool. Like the AOD 9, whatever it is, there's another couple ones, MOTC, which I'm already doing right now, SLU, stuff like that. And Retta, I didn't use Retta my last prep because I didn't know it was a thing.
Yeah, and I should have also clarified on that I don't think that the Retatrutide is an excuse to, or rather, let me put it this way. I think I could still show up in shape without the Retatrutide.
Oh yeah, for sure.
The thing that Retatrutide granted me was, I think that my physical appetite, the physiological effect it had on me, or sorry, the psychological effect it had on me, was just so severe that
response though. So
yes, it does elicit more water retention, more stress, reduced drive in the gym to train hard. I'm yawning all the time. I'm about to fucking fall asleep because the sleep was the most impacted part. And so, whereas I know I have the mental fortitude to diet, if there's a drug out there that will take the hunger side out of it, that now means that I'm going to get an extra maybe 1 to 2 hours on average every single night that I wouldn't have gotten if it wasn't for that drug slowing down the appetite.
Yeah, man.
So that's something
I'm really looking forward to with the Retta is, I don't know about you, but like honestly, all the trend in the world can't make me nearly as angry as being hungry does, personally.
Exactly. So a lot of people mention that to me at like work. They're like, "Man, you're so snappy," and I'm like, "Listen, it's nothing against y'all. I'm just hungry. It's nothing against y'all."
Like I'm not the most awful person to be around on prep, but like the last 6 weeks or so, let's say I'm just a dick the whole time, just for sake of argument. I think with Retta, and then also like living in contest prep like I have basically since I did my last show, I'm hoping that translates to me being able to have my wife feel like contest prep is just software in the background, and right, because
it shouldn't feel like a transition.
Exactly.
I think that was where me and Jordan, my girl, we discussed that, because I will say that it still does have some level of effect on me. I might be saying it in my own words with it because she could probably disagree. I don't think it made me a fucking asshole, but it certainly made me intolerant to a lot of things that I normally had more tolerance for. The thing that I recognized straight up was, while I didn't have extreme rage, because I'm not like, the Retta was shutting off the hunger signaling, my ability to find humor was more difficult. Like I couldn't laugh at people's jokes at work anymore, and the desire to just do things day to day was getting harder. I will say that 100% had some effect. So yes, at the end of a prep, you're going to see some level of change in your partner. And so whenever I see those posts, people will say like, prep is an excuse to treat your partner like shit. Like, yes, I agree 100%. Don't fucking become a fucking asshole, just absolutely ruthless individual. But I will tell you, it's going to suck the damn life out of you.
Yeah.
Unless you are just entirely fine being single-digit body fat year-round, there's going to be some level of like, okay, this is starting to fuck with me now.
Yeah,
and you just have to be very aware of that and have those moments of like recognition and apology and trying to do better every single day, which is not always easy.
Yes, and there's a difference between being tired and being short versus like being aggressive. which a lot of people get that from hunger. I didn't really get that. There were like maybe like a few things here and there, like specifically the week of the show that I can look back to and it's like, I was too short there. So also, having Joe in person, I know that's not going to happen because it's like, oh, you say something dumb, you're getting smacked in the teeth.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Yeah. But it's also just going to be super. It's going to be super fun just to have somebody to peek me there in person because I think you're in the same boat as me. You've never had somebody to actually peek you in person. I just feel like I'm not generally super stressed the day of the show, but I just feel like I'm gonna have no stress whatsoever.
Yeah, I will say I would say that I was pretty cool as a cucumber with the Tennessee State show because I by the end of prejudging, I had already sized up my competition, and I was not trying to be full of myself at all because I still felt like I didn't have a crack at the first place, let alone getting the overall. Because I remember getting in my head backstage, looking at some of those guys, and they just looked bigger than me. But the thing is, that doesn't always translate on stage because I had straight stage presence without even trying to have stage presence. It's just, again, the legs and the really tiny looking waist. That really made me just stand out on stage. And that's why I'm hoping with the upper body being more developed now, that's only going to play that much bigger of a role in standing out. Because the moment you can get those judges to even look at you, that's when you know that you're winning. That's when you know that you're winning because you can have one great body part. Because I saw plenty of guys backstage where I'm like, he's got bigger arms than me. Oh, that guy's got bigger delts. But the overall package, but he ain't got fucking legs, man. So it's the overall package. It's not just it's not body part day. It's the entire physique. So there's that. And I can't really say if I'm going to get peaked in person for these upcoming shows. I'll tell you this. I know whenever I first hired Austin, I was like, hey, man, when's your next show? Because I was curious. I was like, when are you going to compete again? Because you've gotten fucking huge since the last time you stepped on stage. He was like, well, I think we might be doing NPC Nats in December. And we're looking at NPC Nats in December. So then I kind of wonder, so you're going to be in a prep fatigue state while you're coaching me. But I trust his intuition because, the thing is, again, I don't fear making decisions for other people, even if I'm in a prep brain mindset versus making decisions for myself, because that's when you're going to be in your head.
And that's the thing, too. We've even heard Austin talk about it on the podcast before. Like, he's had problems in the past putting too much into coaching and it taking away from his bodybuilding. And another thing, too, regardless on if he was doing like a national level show or not that year, I'm fairly sure, like, if you're at nationals, if you're at USA's, wherever you're at, I'm fairly sure he would want to be there for like a national level show. Your qualifying show's a different story. Like, you're the level of athlete to where you should just walk through a qualifier, no problem, like 80%.
It should be a walk in the park, honestly. I don't mean to speak so highly, but listen, you've got to get top 2 in your class.
Yeah.
How many top 2 individuals are already qualifying for national shows consistently?
And you're going to be super heavies, you're going to be well into the super heavies within your next few shows. It's like, how many shows literally have nobody in the super heavies?
There was 3 at Tennessee State, and that's why whenever I saw the guy that won it, I was like, I got to beat this guy? What the fuck? He was huge, don't get me wrong, but that's where, again, and he had stage presence too, but for a different reason. He was doing the sticking the tongue out, just Jordan. She's told me, she's like, please don't ever do that. Don't be the embarrassing guy on stage that's like just screaming and sticking your tongue. But listen, I get it, man. Everybody's got their own hype. So
yeah, it's like I would have felt bad for Madison, who the episode that just released. I would have felt bad for him because his first 2 shows, he was the only super heavyweight, but it was also the overall winner. So.
Yeah,
it's like it is what
it's like. That's like on the opposite end of being a what's the lightest class there is? It's under middleweight. Bantam. Oh my god! Whenever I've seen like a bantamweight,
dude,
or whenever I see, and I'm not knocking on him, but you'll see the over 70 class, and it's like a bantamweight. You're like, brother, you know what? Good for you. You're getting on an amateur stage. Have fun.
My hope there is just that they're natural, maybe TRT with like some really good genetics that just age very gracefully. That's my hope. But you see him at every show. But this show that I am doing is actually like that guy. I don't remember what his name was. The guy who he only did like 2 shows and he turned pro.
Ray Ballard.
Yeah, that's the level of competition that's gonna be at this show. That was its first year.
That's a big city in North Carolina.
It's the capital.
South Carolina?
North Carolina, yeah. North Carolina, Raleigh.
I keep getting that mixed up because I know people who live in South Carolina and also North Carolina.
I've competed in South Carolina both times I've competed. So this will be actually the first time competing in my home state because it's the only all the other
Raleigh,
ones
right?
Yeah. Yeah, Raleigh.
Okay.
And this is probably the biggest show in both two states combined, I would think. Like, Gilco does the production. It's a big deal. It's also a pro show. It's a pro-am. I don't know if they're going to have men's open there.
Okay.
They might, though. That'd be pretty cool to see.
Yeah, because that's like Junior USAs that they do in like June or July. I ended up finding out. I didn't know it at the time. There was a bodybuilding show here in Memphis, Tennessee, that was like paid entry for Junior USAs if you win the overall. And I was like, that's interesting. Okay. And then I finally got more invested before I actually prepped for that show, and I looked into Junior USAs, and this says they don't hand out pro cards for open.
Yep.
They hand out a pro card for every division but open.
It's
I was
weird.
like, and I'm about to get. If anybody's this far, I hope I'm not flaming on y'all. But I actually find it severely annoying how people will try to compare their category to open and say it's just as difficult to get their pro card. I'm like,
no.
It's like why do you think the open guys are getting paid all that money?
Yep.
When you're getting, and y'all are complaining about the pay difference. It's like, well, do you realize how much more they have to sacrifice to be that big?
And just the time. That's like saying it takes just as long to build a skyscraper as it does to build an apartment. Not the same thing. Like a small, 2-floor apartment. Not the same thing at all.
300-pound bodybuilder versus the fitness girl that just does the acrobatics on stage.
Fit model, actually. Let's go that far.
The fit model.
It's just as hard to turn pro in fit model at 110 pounds at 16% body fat as it is to turn pro at 300 pounds, 6'1", open bodybuilder. Oh my God, it's not even the same thing. And even with classic, there's some cheesing that can go on there because then you got the height classes, right? When you turn pro in classic, you're all lumped together. There are no height classes.
Yeah, exactly.
And then for men's open, it's like, okay, are we counting bantamweights as men's open? Because it kind of is kind of that. Like, we're really talking about light heavy, heavy, and super heavyweight, basically.
Once you're at the pro level, yeah.
Yeah.
And I probably sound like a total hater, but unfortunately, as much as I understand the reasoning behind introducing more classes, more categories, it brings more fans to it. I honestly, that's where I get the retrospective jealousy, where I'm like, I wish I grew up at a time where 212 wasn't even a thing. Like, the short guys had to compete against the tall guys. Yeah. And we didn't have all these other divisions. I will say classic I can admire because that's like bringing back the golden era style of physique. There's definitely a difference between that and open category bodybuilding, bodybuilder. But I don't know, man. I really don't. When we go to bodybuilding shows or when we've been to them outside of me competing, or even when I've competed, she even likes, following some of the wellness girls. But the last thing I care to see are the wellness girls on stage or any of the men's physique and that's just me. It's just my personal preference. I'm sure there are people that care. It just feels like an unfinished product.
I'm of the opinion that men's physique shouldn't even be on the same day, honestly.
Yeah, and maybe there's just the argument that they should have a men's day and a women's day or something in that regard. Because I remember competing in a show, my first show when I was 19, and some of the women, I competed at finals at like 5 or 6 p.m.
Yeah.
And I remember we didn't stay that late, but I had heard the next morning that some of the women didn't compete until like 2 a.m. Yes. All the spectators are gone at that point. Yeah. You no longer even have an audience to care to watch you step on stage.
That was going to be one good thing, because we had originally planned for me to do a show in South Carolina. Well, okay, so it was originally this show, then a South Carolina show, then we switched it back to this show. That South Carolina show, it was like Men's Day, Women's Day. And that was one thing we're like, oh, okay, this is going to be good. And it's like men are in the morning, first thing, for both the prejudging and finals, or whatever, however it was set up. They were first both times, basically. And that's something that definitely needs to be taken into account. Like, say what you want about even the fit models in terms of like what they have to build for that. They have to spend a lot of time that week of the show getting ready to present what they've got, and it's not cheap either. They spend a lot of money. They spend a lot of time.
I think the women spend way more than us.
Dude,
at least on show day.
Their suits are like $600.
Yeah.
It's absurd.
I have a question, because I don't know if you've invested in suits before. Have you ever gotten like a custom suit made?
I guess technically, yes. It's custom because I flipped with some options and stuff, but it was all pretty standard. I want to say it was like $70.
Okay, see,
it's Joe's sponsor. It's Joe's sponsor. If you go to his channel,
Kitty Bikinis or the
Crystal.
Okay, there's a couple of them. Yeah, I was considering, because I don't know if I'm looking at. I still like the black style trunks, or I've considered green. I don't know why, but I feel like green would fit me well too. but I've been considering buying some custom trunks, and I just wasn't sure yet. I feel like I need to have a better idea of where I'm actually going to be size-wise at that point, because I know if you're going to get everything custom measured and everything, you want to do all that. But no, whenever I first bought a pair of trunks, it was, I guess, Jed North. They had bodybuilding trunks on their site, and they were like $35. And I think they were the cheapest ones I could
like
find.
$20.
That had decent reviews on them. So that's what I ended up with. I just wasn't sure, though, because I've seen people get custom trunks. They look nicer, some of them. So.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people say, I don't know if this isn't a requirement anymore, obviously, but back in the day, you were supposed to wear black trunks in prejudging and then colored trunks at the night show. So that's something I might do. I might get a separate pair for prejudging or night show prejudging, something like that. But
well, this is probably really anecdotal, or this is probably just my own opinion, but I almost think to myself that I should keep black.
Yeah.
Because no matter what the backdrop is, I think that black actually can help with making you.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Personally, I think anything that draws eyes to the waist even more is going to possibly deduct points.
My purple trunks absolutely make my waist look wider. 100%.
Sure.
So that's why I switched over to black.
That's a good idea. Yeah, then I might keep it that way, because I do look at stage pictures and I'm like, black does fit me, though, because when I see guys in other colors, I'm like, that stands out too much. That's even why I think I told you, but that's why I shaved my head, because I was like, the last thing I'm going to do is a front lat spread, and I go, people are going to see my crown, and I'm like, yep, that draws eyes off my physique onto my bald head, because I've seen other guys do it, and I'm like, you need to shave your head.
Are you going to go for the fully clean shaven look for stage, or have you thought about that?
For sure.
I think you should.
I think it looks better, aesthetically speaking, and it makes you look way smaller, or sorry, the head look a lot smaller.
I know I'm gonna have to have some type of facial hair, because I enjoy being married, and if I go completely clean shaved, that will not be a thing anymore.
But I'm sure she is pretty close herself. Whenever she just show up one day and she opens the door and my face is back to being a baby.
They hate it.
She's like, "Who are you?"
They hate it so much. It's so funny, dude. I remember the first time that I ever shaved my head or shaved my body. My wife freaked out. She hated it so bad, like in tears. And then now it's like, oh my God, why are you hairy? What is wrong with you? You're all prickly now. Your hair. Why? Shave your head. Well, you look homeless. Come on.
Oh man, yeah.
I need to get my wife on the podcast one time, dude. I'm telling you, it would be hilarious.
That would be hilarious. I'm sure she's got a lot of funny stories about you.
Yeah, I've thought about
because we've gone through a lot of change, man. Both of us, I'm sure.
Yeah, I've thought about throwing this idea. Actually, I've got two ideas to throw out to you. One of them I'll throw out to you off air, but this one, I wonder if it would be something that I'd have to get my wife to agree to it first, but I think it would be interesting if we did a 4-person podcast of us and our significant others and kind of chatted about how the bodybuilding lifestyle can impact your loved ones, and what's some things that I noticed that are beneficial, some things that are not so great, but you learn to deal with them, stuff like that. That might be interesting.
Yeah, she's such a I won't say shy, but soft-spoken person. If I could convince her, that would be fun. But I'm sure she'd have a lot to say about how silly it is sometimes with how meticulous we have to be. Yeah. Sometimes she rolls her eyes at how structured I need to be, but I don't know if that's part of the reason I'm so good at this sport is because my ADHD, I live off. I say ADHD at this point, that's what I was diagnosed with as a kid. I don't like to use that as a scapegoat, but I definitely realize that without structure in my life, I am lost. I can't do anything right if I don't have a routine that I do every day. So I
literally I'd be under a bridge somewhere. I don't know what I would do without bodybuilding. It's structure. It's given me everything I have. Wherever it takes me. If I never turn pro, if I'm never a good national level competitor, I don't care, because I love the lifestyle. It gives
still going to be a bodybuilder, man.
Yeah, it gives me a purpose. And I think realistically, it's not an absurd thing to think that I can be on a national level stage one day, but if that's not meant for me, that's not meant for me.
You for sure can.
Yeah, and I think most people can. I think realistically, getting to that level is achievable for a lot of people. It's just that first call out of the heavy, super heavy we're talking about. That's kind of
how do we develop the pro qualifying physique? Because anybody can technically go to nationals, but at what point do you get to stand on that national stage and say, this guy might turn pro? Yeah. I don't think I had that look yet. When I looked at myself on stage and I looked at the bigger guys, I'm like, okay, I look solid, but this is not screaming, oh my God, this guy's going to get his pro card today. No. So at what point do we achieve that? It might be a long time. It might be never, but
I think honestly, you can really almost put it down to numbers. At a height of 5'9", realistically, what are we going to have to weigh? Probably more than 230 at least on stage, unless like you just have like a wasp waist and you bird bones or something, right? Like
the thin bone part, because again, I think we both had that conversation where it blows my mind how some people can look the way they look at the exact same height as us with way less weight on them, where guys will look at me and say, you don't look a buck above 200 pounds, which obviously now I'm a little bit larger.
They're smoking crack.
Sorry, let me rephrase. I look more like I'm 210 or 220 versus 250, that kind of thing. It's like, yeah, well, I guess I can see where you're coming from, because I don't feel that big.
I would say like you look every bit of 240, 250, but like where they're coming from is, I think it's legs. Because that's something I've noticed with Antoine as well, and a lot of those guys who have the huge legs where it's their best body part. Like Tom Platz was a lot heavier than we think he was. Antoine is like damn near 300 pounds on stage back when he competed. It just seems to be like the legs just hold more mass than anything. And I think like, so for example, I'm looking at potentially a 30-pound jump in stage weight here. I think a lot of that's just because of legs.
Oh, it's going to be legs.
Yeah, like those jumps may be a bit less when it's like, okay, the biceps. That's all. That's the main thing we got to prove is biceps. It's like, how much weight are we really putting on there?
That's where it's hard for me to imagine too. And this is probably the last thing I chat about before we head off. But man, I'm hoping we can make this more consistent again, because I was telling her, I was like, I'm glad to be able to get back on, but now it's within a reasonable time where I'm not in a rush. Right. Like this is usually around my bedtime at this point, but it's fine. I got one more meal, get some more steps in, and it's time for bed. But let me make sure I know where I'm at with this. When I was just, so it's always, and we've talked about this in the group chat, but I always think to myself when I look, I'm like, where did the 30 or 40 pounds go? Because I know I'm not 30 extra pounds of body fat. I know it's not all just water. So I'm sure for me, at least what I'm looking at from every picture I've taken, usually a most muscular is the greatest way to really tell a difference. I'm specifically proud to say that I really didn't want a lot of size to be put on my legs this offseason. If anything, I wanted posterior work. The quads I've been happy with. If anything, I just wish the equal separation was there a little bit more, and maybe that'll be something I can emphasize during a prep. But what I will say is that I have watched, structurally speaking, my entire upper body has just gotten fuller and fuller and fuller. And I'm like, okay, so hopefully everything's going to look a little bit bigger next time.
Especially from the side when you turn the delts specifically and arms, but mainly delts, like just the full delt, like rear, side, front, everything. Yeah, that is a lot bigger, fuller, and denser. I don't know how much weight.
We've hammered that so much too.
Yeah, you can tell. Yeah. Like I remember there was this one picture where you were beside your girlfriend, and it looked like your shoulder.
Yeah, off to the side.
It was fucking crazy. So that's definitely something that's coming. Your back has probably come up quite a bit as well. So that's another body part.
I hope, because it feels like a weak area for me. I look at my back and I'm like, dude, I still don't have the lats yet. I just don't have the. It looks good from the front, but from the back, it looks. Yeah, you're right.
It's just because your glutes, hams, quads are so, like you can literally see your quad sweep from the back. Those things are so overpowering that it's like,
and you can see my glutes from the front, dude. You can see my glutes in the front spread.
It's ridiculous. And that's like a body part
freaking ridiculous,
where it's like you can never have too big of glutes either. So it's like, hey, whatever, you just keep going for it. But that's all it is. I think it's just your eyes are being drawn there, so it's a bit harder to notice the development in the back, but it's absolutely increased. And I think that's where a lot of your weight is going to be. It's going to be your back, and then shoulders and arms as well. Shoulders, but like in that order, like back, shoulders, arms, probably.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. I'm excited for you. And man, as much as I didn't want to hear, we're going to wait until November, December to prep. I'm like, I know I need it. I'm not going to be as big as I need to be, and I probably still won't be as big as I want to be by the time I'm competing.
You're going to be like 260, 270 by the time you stop. Because for a while there...
We'll see. I don't know how much he's going to have me push up from like the 6-week mark after.
Yes, and it depends on how much you drop here, of course. If you drop down like closer to 230, probably a bit more like back to 250, 260, but it will be a lot cleaner.
250, 260.
But the thing is, man, like your first initial phase where you first got with him and you just started going up and you got out of your health phase and stuff and just continued progress, it's like the rate of gain that you had while still staying in the same condition was crazy. So if even half of that happens again, I would expect you to be well into the 260s at least.
I'd be grinning from ear to ear if I was only in 260.
Yeah, and I can tell you from my personal experience, you probably don't want to be 270. It's going to feel like shit.
Yeah.
But from my personal experience, before Joe had me do a 7-week cruise and we did a little bit of a mini cut, I was weighing, I think, like 231, 234, something like that. And we pulled back maybe 10, 15 pounds at most. I don't remember exactly. But then, so, 230 something to now 252, like mid 250s. Probably, I might even be fucking
same, if not better condition.
The legs are starting to fade a little bit, but I appreciate it.
A little bit.
But that's 20 pounds.
It,
that's 20 pounds.
Yeah.
So I believe you can do every bit of that. Like, there you go. That's another 20 pounds on top of your kind of peak weight there. So that would put you at 260, 270. Bodybuilding math, of course, it's not the same.
Yeah. And well, who knows where we're going to push things. I mean, you already kind of knew where the androgen load was at that point. So it's like, is this the ceiling or are we going to go further? I mean, I felt fine on it. I felt fine. I definitely felt like I needed a break, though. I think mentally, I don't know. I don't know if the nandrolone was having its effect on me, or if it was my work situation that you obviously heard about. But I'm hoping that's going to get more optimistic here soon. So anyway, yeah, man.
Yeah, well, this has been
great
fun.
Catching up.
We're pretty much right at 2 hours here, so this was awesome, man. Definitely looking forward to doing more of these. Yeah, I know time flies, right? I'm looking by. I'm like, when is he going to tell me to stop? When is he going to tell me to stop?
I can keep going, man, but we both got meals, I'm sure. Whatever we got to get done.
Yeah, we'll talk off air a little bit, but this has been another episode of the Iron Obsession podcast. All the links will be in the description below. Thank you guys for watching.